and I'm back with number 8 of my process videos, so it's going to be a nice, good old race to the finish. Unfortunately, I was really bogged down with trying to get stuff in my Etsy shop, and it kind of took precedent over this, but I'm still going to be finishing up my video series for Christmas, and I used I think it's called the Ugly Sweater cut file from the Just Nick cut file shop, and it's really cute. And it was nice to back it. I got to back it with a whole bunch of different papers. I used some colored cardstock. I used some stuff from my stash, Chamel, Amy Tangerine. I also used some of the 2x2 little booklets from the Turn the Page collection. And I think maybe in total I used like 1 or 2 actual Christmas papers. All the rest are, like, I used some stuff from Snow and Cocoa, the 6x6 paper pad, and all the rest are just like random papers, and yet they work perfectly for what I was going for. I decided to glue a sequin in the middle of each snowflake, and it's one of those like iridescent white ones, and I really like it. So this is a picture of my daughter from a few years ago. I have a few pictures from this, what do you call it? Photo shoot that I did outside with her, and with this big puffy hat, and it's just adorable. And so I have like a larger picture of her that I want to do, but I wanted to print it much larger, so of course it wouldn't work with a cut file like this because I want a lot of the cut file to still show through all the pretty colors and everything. So I grabbed some stash, Snow and Cocoa stash and Turn the Page stash, and I'm just backing my picture. I don't want to do a whole lot of backing because I don't need to. And the reason that I chose the colors that I did, and that it's so bright and kind of, I guess, maybe a little bit weird for Christmas, is this layout is going to feature some of my new digital collection that I just released, called Hip Holiday, and it's got a ton of color in it, and colors that are featured here in this snowflake scene. So I did glue the snowflake cut file down on top of a piece of cardstock, and it was just a pink piece, and it's what you can see in the smallest little squares there in the cut file. The little dark pink is what I glued it down to, and I just glued the whole thing down because I really wasn't all that worried about using it because it's just cardstock. I can always buy more. So I'm not sure yet which cut files, or sorry, which die cuts I want to use. I don't want to go like crazy overboard, which I could, and because this picture is more winter themed than Christmas themed, I'm not going to use any of the word phrases or the word die cuts, but I am going to use some of the images. And I really liked the trees, and I mean, I like that flamingo a lot. I think he's really cute, but I decided to keep him for something different. So I like the deer as well, but I decided in the end that, I mean, I had to use the unicorn because it's probably one of my favorite things that I designed for the collection is that cute unicorn. And because he's pink, or she's pink, and the hat's pink, I thought it would be a good match for what's going on. And I wanted to use the little cocoa cup. Well, it's not little, it's quite large, but I wanted to use the cup too because I just wanted that kind of feeling of winter and warmth and stuff like that. And I really wanted to use the snow globe because I just think it's really pretty. So I have the large trees from the snow globe as well. As you can see, they're large die cuts as well. And so I'm going to use them. And these are all printed for anyone who is curious. I did do a kind of like a walkthrough video on all the on all the die cuts, but these I printed from, just because people have asked, they printed them on my Canon Pixma, and it's an MG7120, and it's several years old, maybe even close to like 4 or 5 years old, and it still prints lovely quality photos. I printed it through the Silhouette print and cut feature where you print from your own printer and then you can cut the file. I printed, I don't actually use Canon paper because I find it really hard to find other than buying it online. So I actually use Hewlett-Packard paper, HP paper, and I use the highest quality, the 5-star Premium Plus. This is a soft gloss, I believe is what it's called, or it's a matte finish. I believe it's still a soft gloss finish, and it was an 8.5 by 11 sheet. So it's like the highest quality paper that I can find on a photo printer, and the die cuts end up being very true to the colors that you see on the screen. Now, if you use cardstock, colors may vary, so it might be something you'd want to tweak around with in a photo editing software of some sort, just because when I make these files, I can't adjust for every type of printer and every type of color variation. But I have printed them off on just regular cardstock, and they were, you know, there was a little bit of loss of detail and a little bit of change in some of the blues, but other than that, they were still really great. I'm trying to look for my, I thought I had little foam dots, and I couldn't find them. I thought I had put them somewhere, but apparently I didn't. Anyway, because I just want to pop some of these up. So yeah, so I did them on that. I used my Silhouette. You have to make sure you put your registration marks down when you're using your print and cut feature, or you can fussy cut them. And I have had a few people ask me about the Cricut. I don't have a Cricut myself, so I don't have access to the software to kind of show how to work it. It's actually made me think that maybe one of the things I should look into investing wise is to actually get a Cricut as well, so that I can do stuff for both Cricut and Silhouette. But in the meantime, I can't really afford that quite yet. But I did find some YouTube, I plugged in YouTube videos. I did a search on YouTube and plugged in print and cut, or Silhouettes, or no, I didn't. Cricut ping to SVG or something like that, and I got quite a few hits that were really helpful, and some that were even about how to use the Cricut's print and cut. So anyone who wants to take a leap I would look that up before you do make any kind of digital purchases, not just on mine, but just in general. It's a little good. I found it quite helpful. I found one by Ken's Creations, and both Ken and Creation are spelled with a K, and it was quite informative. So that's a little bit of advice. So in the end, I ended up using the unicorn, the snow globe, my snowflakes, and the trees, and the cocoa mug, and these colors worked really well with the Turn the Page collection. And since I was doing like a winter theme, but yet it was not necessarily Christmas, I decided to bring in some of that collection as well. And I'm actually going to bring in a few puffy stickers from another collection. I used the chipboard Wonderful from Turn the Page because I originally was going to use the 2x2 card, and then I couldn't find it. And I found it afterwards, and I decided to keep the chipboard. I put some enamel dots on my snowflakes just so they'd have a cute little center, just something to kind of focus on. And the enamel dots were from an L Studio collection that was released in the summertime or the early fall, I believe. And the colors matched quite well. So I'm actually going through, I can't remember the name of this collection, but it's another Paige Evans collection. I'm really apologize if you guys can hear yelling. All 3 kids are home and they're going crazy right now because it's getting close to supper time and everything. So I think it's called Oh My Heart, now that I think of it. So I'm going to use some of it. I think I'm going to use puffy stickers from Turn the Page and from the new Dear Lizzie Daydreamer. Was it Daydreamer? Stargazer collection. But I couldn't think of what to do for a title because I didn't really have a title in mind. I just kind of love this picture of her. So I'm going to kind of use the Wonderful as a jumping off point, and I really wanted to use some foam, some white foam, thicker type words, just because I love the look of white on white. Like if I cut an item out, if I cut out a cut file with white cardstock, I really like putting a white piece of foam or lettering on top. So I loved that little darling. It's not really part of the title. I was going to write a title that was going to be like most wonderful time of the year or something kind of like that, but I realized how much room that would take, and it really wouldn't work all that well. So I just kind of I just take a U, and that was from, I think, an Amy Tangerine collection with those white thickers. And so, you know, I guess it could be like Darling You or Darling Wonderful You or Wonderful You, just because it's the most wonderful time of the year. So wonderful little you. So these are the little flower puffy stickers that I'm sticking around. And the ones that I used in the Stargazer were some birds that I found. One was a little cardinal, and I love cardinals very much. So I felt I had to put it in there. And then I put another little bird somewhere else, just for fun. But that is about it. And there's like a star pin type thing that I got from a Paper Issues swag bag a while ago. And I found it, and I just shoved it in the foam that's underneath that little cup. So that worked out well. I didn't even have to glue it down. I probably should go back and glue it down, but I didn't. So the last thing I'm going to do is put in Heidi Swapp blush, and that is it. This is my first ever layout with my new collection. I just wanted to show you guys how you could use it because it doesn't have papers. So yeah, bye.